My name is Philip Agnew. I'm 25. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. Moved here 3 years ago to Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school at Florida A&M University, studied business, got a bachelor's in business administration, and have been working here in sales for the past 3 years. I got with a group of friends and we went out to the epicenter last week, and we don't go frequently, but we do go pretty often, maybe once a month, to enjoy it. I was dressed casually. It was about 98 degrees, so I was dressed very casual for the day. I had on my glasses, had on a t-shirt, shorts, and I had on a hat. Um, we went out there. I was with a mixed group of friends actually, and we went out. I went to the bar. I bought a drink. I was talking to a group of friends, just catching up. I was there for about 30 minutes. I was approached from behind by a security officer with the pavilion, which is what they call it. I was outdoors, so they called that area pavilion area. I was approached by him. I was told to turn my hat around. Now, at this point, I like to kind of sidetrack. I've been to Evercenter plenty of times, and each time there's always an issue. So whether it's your hat, whether it's your shoes, whether it's your t-shirt or your shorts, there's always some sort of issue or some sort of reason for a security officer to approach us, one, to limit our access to some of the venues there, or to just make our experience there uncomfortable. They asked me to turn my hat around. I was with a group of people, and like I said, I had just gotten my first drink, and I asked them why. I looked around, I saw multiple people with their hats on backwards or sideways, and he said, listen, turn your hat around, turn it to the front, you're breaking the dress code. I wasn't aware of a dress code. I don't think many people are aware of a dress code. I asked him where was that posted. He said, listen, man, I'm going to get the police. You I'm telling you to do something, you're not doing it. And you know, and at that point, I told him, yeah, that would probably be best, because this was, in my opinion, they had no right to dictate how I wore my hat in the outdoor pavilion. Friends, he came back maybe 30 seconds later with uniformed police officers. They asked me, was I causing any trouble? I told them I wasn't, that the gentleman, the security officer, and I pointed to the security officer, had approached me about turning my hat around, and that I didn't think that it was right, that I was being singled out, and there were plenty of other people with their hats turned around. At that point, they told me I was breaking the dress code again. I said, where is the dress code? I'm still confused. Where's the dress code? Why is no one else being told to turn their hat around? I was really confused. I'm looking around at my friends, and at that point, the security officer says, man, I'm sick of this. Get him out of here. At that point. So the police are like, now you gotta go, man. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I'm just wondering, why do I have to turn around my hat when no one else does? I remember it vividly. I was clear minded that day. Luckily, I had just gotten there, so I hadn't had a chance to get any drinks. But they took me by the arm. Okay, one of the officers took me by the arm. At this point, I'm under the assumption that I'm getting escorted out, which I was already resigned to that anyway. So he took my arm. Another officer came and took my other arm and started handcuffing me. And anyone that was there will recall me saying, "So I'm under arrest now. I'm under arrest. You all are arresting me. Oh man, you know the typical, the surprise of being arrested, first time in handcuffs. I'm like, oh man, so you all are arresting me. So you're arresting me. Still did not get loud. I'm getting escorted out through the crowd, and I'm with the officer, and I mentioned two other people with their hats backwards, and I made a comment. I said, oh, you all are going to arrest a lot of people today. And he said, no, we're just arresting people that the Epicenter staff reports to us. What I'm trying to explain to you is, this is an outdoor event, and people are dressed casually. And I'm dressed just like everybody else, really. There are some people that may have come straight from work and might have been dressed like I am now, straight from work. But for the majority of the people, they're dressed casually. It's a rock band out there. You understand the environment that we're in. So it was people with multiple ways of wearing their hats. People that just had their hat, and I wasn't wearing my hat backwards. When you wear a hat, there's a sweat. You know, you start to sweat. So I had turned it to get that part that was the sweat thing, and I had just turned it. And literally after a few seconds, it had to have been a few seconds, maybe a minute, he had approached me about it. So at that point, I'm thinking still, they put the handcuffs on me. I'm thinking still, okay, they're gonna take me downstairs, tell me not to come back tonight. Okay, so it still hasn't fully sunk in. I get downstairs with 3 flights of stairs. I'm like, so what am I going to be in charge with? They tell me you'll probably get charged with second-degree trespassing, which wound up being my final charge, second-degree trespassing. They took me down to the area where there's stairs there leading up to Blackfin. They set me on the stairs on the main street while they took a statement from the pavilion officer. And I'm talking to the officer, letting him know. He's asking me, why didn't you turn your hat around? It was just that simple. And I'm telling him, listen, this is a pattern. Every time we're up here, there's some sort of issue. At some point, you know, you really just have to say it's enough, and this doesn't make sense to me. He's cordial to me, and I know a lot of people have said, you know, hey, the police. But from my personal interaction, he was cordial with me. He told me he was doing his job. The other officer got the statement from the gentleman. They put me in the back of the police car. When I want to note this. When I got to the police station, the officer said, "This is no consolation to you, I know, but you are the most respectful person that I've ever had in the back seat of my car. I wish everyone was like you." And I said, "No, it's not any consolation to me at all." I mean, you get your mugshot taken, they fingerprint you, and then you wait. There's no, you're just waiting with, you know, the people that they bring in that night to speak to a magistrate. I spoke to a magistrate at around 2 in the morning. I spoke to a magistrate that in the time between, you're just quiet, you're watching CNN. And so I talked to her, and her comments to me were, Philip, you're going to have to probably buy your own club. Because if someone tells you to turn your hat around, no matter if everyone is doing it or not, you've got to do what they say. And I said, I understand that, but they single me out, and it's really unfair. And so she no bond, and you know they let me sign myself out. I never been arrested, felony or misdemeanor, so they let me go.